everybody. I hope you're doing well. What I want to do is, since you have an assignment of a weekly analysis coming up on January 31st, I wanted to do a quick video on what that assignment looks like, and it'll be similar for the weekly analysis 2 and 3 that come up in the later months. But I want to explain what it is and some resources that are available to you and how to submit it. So you should be seeing on your screen right now our page in Blackboard. And so if you go to assignments and you go to weekly analyses here, very, very bottom, here are the 3 weekly analyses. So this one here, the first one, is due January 31st, 2020 at midnight. That's coming up. And here's what it is. In 2 pages, 12-point Times New Roman double-spaced, I want you to talk about something in your own words that was covered in class. So this is not a research paper. I don't want you to regurgitate information from, say, Wikipedia or Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy or wherever. I just want you to talk about, in your own words, something that was discussed in class that you found interesting. Now, they're called weekly analyses because I'm looking for generally something that we spent like a week on. But just if in 2 full pages, and I don't mean that you made it to page 2, but 2 complete pages, discuss something that we talked about in your own words. Now, you also have right here, there are 3 resources that are meant to help you. You've got the paper formatting exemplar, an example of a good weekly analysis. Like here's a paper that I got from a student in the past that was good. It was an A paper. It made 100. An example of a paper that's not an F, because that would be too easy, but a paper that was okay. And both of these have been reprinted with permission. So let's talk about the different documents that you have. The first one that you've got is this one. This is the paper formatting exemplar, and probably when you look at it, it's going to look like that. You open it up, you download it. So what you do is if you click on this right here, it will download, or you do this little drop down. Actually, that drop down won't be there for you. So you click on this paper formatting exemplar, Microsoft Word, you'll get this. And so this is kind of a model for what the format should look like. However, there are also a bunch of instructions. So I have things where if you do use citations, and this is not a research paper, so you probably shouldn't need to, but if you do use something, it should be cited in this way. But there's also some recommendations and instructions on what to do. So if you go to, in Microsoft Word, you go to the Review tab and you go to Show Comments, all of a sudden, bam, you've got all these little instructions on things to do, like how to make sure you indent the paragraph. Be sure to always use quotation marks around quotations if you use them. Here's how to cite different kinds of things. So there's all these little instructional features that are on the side. And since this is the exact format, this is 12-point Times New Roman double-spaced, what you can do is you can pretty much just, delete most of what's there. If you want to, you could do this. I'm going to highlight almost everything, delete it, and now if I start typing like right here, we talked about, I have to get rid of the little strike through, but whatever it is that you want to discuss, and you don't need to start with we talked about, but you could say, I found Aristotle interesting. And then keep going from there, but notice some things here. Here's the cover page for what it should look like, and you can just put Weekly Analysis 1 for the title of the paper. Your name here. This class is actually Philosophy 110, Introduction to Ethics, but it'll look like this when you get it, because this is just the basic framework that I use. And it's date there. And then on the actual paper itself, click here in the header, put your last name here. So for example, for me, say Burris. There we go. 2 pages completely. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this back in just so I have it available in case I need to reference it again. But all the stuff in here, all the instructions are meant here to be helpful to you. So that's one thing that you've got. Another thing that you go back here, you've got an example of a good paper. I've already got one open. So what I have here, this is an example of a paper. I have removed the last name, but this is all in the right format. In fact, if you wanted to take this and, delete most of it, and then start filling this in instead. It doesn't have a cover page because I didn't think that was necessary, but you've got that in the exemplar But this is basically what a good paper looks like. This was an A paper. Um, Format's good, the content's good. They in 2 pages. Now look how it's 2 complete pages, and there's not a bunch of space here. What some people will do when they start a paper, oh, I'm gonna write a 2-page paper. I'm gonna start right there. That's not a 2-page paper. That's now a 1.5-page paper if you start there. So start right here, get to the point, make it to this point, and you're good. That's it. This person went a little bit over. You can go, don't overdo it, but also if you turn in something where since these are short papers, if you do something like this, where you've got this much stuff, this is a good looking paper in terms of the content and the format. Now, I'm likely to give you, it's about half of a 2-page paper, so I'm likely to give you half a grade just on that alone. So just keep in mind, just make it to the bottom of page 2, 12 point times Roman double spaced. So this is an example of a good paper. And then I also have an example of a meh paper. So this one, it's not terrible, but you can see already the format of it. Nope. 12 point? Nope. Times New Roman? Nope. Double spaced? Nope. I don't know what this is. That's also not how you spell my name. But there's a title here. There's no last name and page number in the header. And basically, the format of this is almost everything that you could possibly do wrong is wrong. Margins are even off, I think. But also, the problem with it is it's just kind of a random collection of acquired facts. It's not really someone saying something in their own words. Also, here's another thing, and the exemplar will tell you this: never start a paper with this. Throughout the progression of philosophy, don't begin papers with, and this is true for any class, don't begin papers with really overgeneral statements like you're in a history class. For thousands of years, people have studied history. Stop it. All right, that's it's not helpful. But that's why, if you look at the exemplar, that's the first instruction that it tells you after the cover page is avoid beginning your essay with sweeping generalizations like this one. Don't start with that. Okay, so those are the things that are meant to help you there. How do I turn it in? Okay, when do I turn it in? Now it's due January 31st at midnight. If you'll notice, when you actually click on it, it'll say, oh, this is due February 1st at midnight. It's rendering, Blackboard is rendering the start of the day. So really, if it's in by midnight, January 31st, you're good. If it's in at 12:01, February 1st, now it's late. What you'll do here is, again, you will click on Weekly Analysis 1, and there's a place for you to put comments in here. I mean, if you want to say something like hi, you can, or say something about the paper, but please don't copy and paste your paper in here or fill this in. Don't do this text submission either. Don't copy and paste anything here. Here's what I want. I want your paper to be a Microsoft Word document that you've already done in Microsoft Word. I don't want a Google Doc. I don't want a link to something else. I don't want an RTF. I don't want a PDF. Just Microsoft Word document, so .doc or .x. What you do here is it should be on your computer. Browse my computer. Hey, there's my weekly analysis. I just did one up myself. So I'm going to attach it. Now I can see that it's attached. Okay, so here's my attached file. There it is. If I needed to, oh no, I did the wrong one. I attached the wrong thing. You can do not attach and then hit browse my computer again, and you can bring up the appropriate attachment. And it's going to look a little bit different when I do this because I can't submit papers for my own class because I'm not a student. But what you'll do is you'll then hit submit, and what it will say for you here is something like submission. It had documents been submitted or something like that. For me, it won't let me do it because it's saying I'm not taking the class, which is true. So this is the assignment that's due on the 31st. If you have questions about this, please use my email, burrust@atc.edu, and